You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P. Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I had the privilege of interviewing the Las Vegas Aces WNBA player and WNBA champion, Alaina Coates. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, enjoying this wonderful night over here in Turkey. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get to play professional basketball?
Well, if I'm being honest, it kind of went from so when I was in high school, I'm miles taller than everybody else, and I was just like, oh, this will be something cool. Like I love to do it, and I was good at it, and I was just like, this can pay my bills, so I kind of looked at it like that. But as I got to college and I was playing at USC, it was more of like, it was kind of more so I want to play professional basketball and less I want to play basketball to pay my bills, if that makes sense. I just kind of, my love for the game kind of grew as as my journey with it went. I started when I was 8 years old, and then we just went from there, played in middle school, played in high school, and I'm just having fun with my friends in high school. Then I get to college, and I'm like, this is pretty much like a precursor before the big leagues. And playing with Coach Staley and just being under her tutelage, it kind of helped me understand that it was the difference in the levels. And I ended up realizing that I really wanted to be a professional basketball player and not just someone who played basketball to, make money. So yeah,
What was that experience like getting to go to South Carolina Gamecocks and getting to play collegiate basketball for them?
it was amazing. I actually remember going to the games where you could sit anywhere. Like and the team was still good, but you could literally sit anywhere, top, bottom. Like there weren't that many fans there. And as I, stayed around more and more and they recruited me more, I was just like, you know what? And I was able to see, like, as the years went on, like she started recruiting some very good talent. She started getting the homegrown talent. And I was just like, I saw the camaraderie that like Gamecock Nation. Now I literally watched it like build up to where it is today. And after a while, I got to a point where I was just like, I want to be a part of what makes them happy. I want to be a part of this team. I want to be a part of this legacy that Coach Staley has started with all these amazing people. Like she picked up Tiffany Mitchell and Elisa Welch, Khadijah Sessions, all those. And I was just like, I really want to be a part of this tremendous house that she's built. Back then, I considered it I said I always wanted to be part of like a Cinderella team or like the underdog team because you weren't hearing about South Carolina the way you were hearing about Baylor and Notre Dame and UConn. And when I was younger, I was like, let's be different. Like let's go somewhere and let's see what we can do. And ultimately we were banging out championships within the SEC, and then it led to the national championship. So it was an amazing journey, and I was just very blessed and very happy that I was able to be a part of that whole process. Because seeing it go from you being able to sit anywhere to you got to come a full 3 hours before the game to get a good seat, like that was just amazing to see.
While being a part of the South Carolina Gamecocks, what was that feeling like getting to put on that jersey and representing them?
It was amazing. Like I said, I was able to watch this program literally get rebuilt and reborn, and to be a player that someone as great as Coach Staley like paid attention to since I was like a youngin, like it made me feel like what you're doing a good job at it, and you deserve to be somewhere that your talents are going to shine. And to have a great coach like Coach Staley, and just being able to put that jersey on and just go out there and do what I did, like I couldn't have imagined me being anywhere else, if I'm being completely honest with you. I mean, a big reason why I stayed was because I didn't want to go too far away from home. But the simple fact that I was able to put that jersey on, have my name on the back, but have Gamecocks in the front, be able to play for me and my teammates, play for our coaching staff, Coach Daly, and just be able to represent the 803, like I just felt so much pride in that. And when we were able to bring home the championship and all the other championships before the national championship, it it was just such a great feeling. And if I could do it all over again, I wouldn't have changed anything, minus the injury part. I probably wouldn't have, I wouldn't wish for that. But it's okay. It's all right. We're here now.
What was that like being a part of that building culture and that building program at South Carolina?
It was very cool. I was able to really learn a lot about myself. I didn't necessarily come in a leadership role. I came in, I wanted to be a spark off the bench. And honestly, being part of like the teams that I was on, it was just very cool. I was able to learn different ways to make myself a presence within a team without having to be the leading scorer, the leading rebounder, the leading shot blocker. Like, my first 2 years, I wasn't a starter, but Coach Taylor was like, big girl, I need you to be a spark off the bench for me. And, I'm starting at Dutch Fork. I'm almost playing, not 40, however many minutes a high school game is. I can't remember. But I had a role change, and ultimately, even just leading up to this point with the Aces, like I was able to realize that it doesn't matter where you are on the floor, as long as you're on that team, everything you do is for you and for your teammates. And I feel like it was the perfect situation for me to go to being the person that I was, because like I said, I'm tall, I'm taller than everybody. I'm just like, all right, pass me the ball, turn, hit the middle of the square. We're going back on defense. And it really wasn't too much behind that. Obviously I cheer for my teammates and all that stuff, but being able to be in that position, it definitely helped me progress and move forward with becoming the player that I am now on and off the court. And I can't thank, you know, Coach Daly and my teammates enough for just allowing me to go through the process and just figure things out. And I'm very happy that I was able to be put in a situation like that. I know a lot of people don't like to, go from being a starter to sitting on the bench, but there are a lot of great lessons that you can learn from that. And I'm glad that I was able to mature and realize those lessons that I did get from those.
What was that experience like getting to compete for the women's national championship and getting to hoist the trophy?
Being able to compete, it was definitely a whirlwind. Once regular season ends and postseason start, it's not like playoffs for the W. It's like you're one and done. Like you only get one game to get it done. So it's like it's stressful, but it's like we're built for it. At Dutch Fork, I was able to win two state championships back to back. So I was able to understand what post game play was like, and for it to be on a collegiate level, you're literally going against the best, just you're going against the best in the nation. And I know my first year, I considered it to be like, it was a lot of pressure. I wasn't used to being in that position, but at the end of the day, Coach Daly said, Lay, I need you to be a spark off the bench. So I did everything that I needed to do. And just that senior year, so I'm the type of player, if you tell me I can play, even if I'm like a little injured or whatever. And as you might know, like I was injured my senior year and I wasn't able to physically go to the championship. So it was rough, but at the same time, I was able to play into that role I was telling you about before. I wasn't able to be there. I wasn't able to, rebound and block shots and play defense and score for my team. But I'm at home, I'm watching the games, I'm texting, I'm encouraging, I'm doing whatever I can. And just being able to, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go to the Final Four either. Our team doctor said that I needed to just like be stationary. I didn't need to move around too much because of my ankle. But just being able to watch the team hold the trophy and the confetti fall, and they're just like your 2017 national champions is the USC Gamecocks. Like it was an amazing feeling. I absolutely hate that I wasn't able to be there, but I was able to get my moment back with the Aces. So as much as I hated that I couldn't be there for the national championship, in spirit I was there. I felt the energy, I felt the love from the fans. We finally got social media back because the season was over, and everyone was just like, big girl, I know you're not there, but congratulations. Like it felt weird for a second because the buzzer went off and I'm just like, I'm really a national champ, but I was like, I didn't even have to, it was weird because I didn't play in the game. But I do know that like, and I recognize that I did a lot for my team to help put us in the position that we got put in to where we could get to that point. And it was amazing. I really do wish I could get that moment back, at least be able to be there, but it still happened. And I was excited and I was happy and I just felt very blessed.
Coming out of college, what was that feeling like getting drafted and going to the Chicago Sky?
Oof, it was a lot. It was a whole lot of emotions. Um, a lot of people don't know, I was dealing with a lot when it came to my injury. I suffered every senior's nightmare. You never want to get hurt your senior year. Luckily my team, well, not luckily, thankfully my teammates, they was gonna hold it down and we were able to get the ring. But I'm not gonna lie, it was nerve-wracking for me at first. Um, I didn't really know what to expect. I knew what I was capable of. I knew that those coaches knew what I was capable of. But I'm in a boot on a little scoot scoot. I can't move around too much, and I'm just thinking like, okay, are they still thinking about me? Are they still And at the same time, I'm still battling things internally because I was at a low point emotionally with the injury. Basketball, it was like my safe haven, especially playing with like Coach Daly and that team. It was my safe haven. So not being able to know what was going to happen next, it was very nerve wracking. But draft night, just sitting there, I had my family there, and then they called me for number two. I was shocked. I had a whole bunch of people text me and be like, "Yo, like, were you happy to go? Like, you look like you didn't want to." I was like, "No, I was just shocked. Like, I'm literally scooting around in here, like having to take crutches to get to certain paces and stuff." And it was just extremely exciting when I heard them call my name. And then not too long after that, with my interview with Holly, the coach at the time was Amber Stocks. I got on the phone with her, and she was just talking about how excited she was to have me and to work with me. And it was it was a whirlwind of emotions, but like overall, I just felt relief. Like you did it, you worked your butt off, like you're here, and I felt extremely proud of myself. Growing up, I'm I come from humble beginnings, and I don't like to brag. I don't consider myself an arrogant person. And sometimes I forget to, hype myself up sometimes, like, no, you've done all this work to get to this point, like you deserve to celebrate. So after it was all said and done and I was able to participate in the festivities. It was just, I felt pride. Like I was excited and I was happy that all the hard work that I did getting to that point got me to being the number two draft pick. And yeah, of course, there are things that I wish I could change along that journey, but I mean, overall, it was a good day for Lay. It was a good day for Lay.
Of course, after getting that phone call that you became a Chicago Sky, what was that feeling like when you got to sign your first contract and put on your first WNBA jersey?
It was surreal. Those moments of, this isn't just something you're gonna do to pay the bills and to make money. It really came into fruition. It was like, girl, this is your job. Like you're really about to get your career started. It was just super exciting. And I didn't pay too much. I can admit I didn't pay too much attention to the W beforehand. Like a lot of people didn't know. I didn't know too much about like what Coach Staley did before I got to coach. I mean, before I got to USC and stuff. So I kind of was a cartoon kid. So a lot of people don't know that. But um, being able to have Coach Amber just be like she wanted me and signing the contract, getting there, putting my jersey on, it was amazing. It was just a little bittersweet though, because um, the year before that, or yeah, the year before that, my father passed away. So he wasn't able to witness any of my WNBA games in person. So it was bittersweet, but it just gave me a reason to go hard and it was just good motivation to make something out of this.
What was that feeling like making your debut for the Chicago Sky against the Indiana Fever?
I was nervous. I'm not even gonna lie. I was nervous. I was just like, okay, I've been with Coach Staley for the past 4 years. She literally was like another mother to me. Like I had my team who I've literally been with for the past 3 years. Like it was nerve wracking, but my vet, I love Cheyenne Parker. She literally was one of the best vets that I had on that team. She literally like took me under her wing and she just helped me be comfortable in knowing that like you have a role on this team, like you are a professional athlete, like you didn't just get here by nothing, like you worked hard to get here. And once I got past those initial nerves and I was just able to get on the floor and I was getting up and down, it was cool. I will say I do wish that my rookie year was a little bit different, but there are things that I could have done different on that part. But ultimately, it was very exciting. It was nerve wracking because it was a brand new venture in my life, but it was very exciting once I finally got the ball rolling.
What was that feeling like going to the Minnesota Lynch and getting to play with them?
Um, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little bittersweet. Amber Stock, she no longer was the head coach. We had new management. Um, and I'm still a youngin. I felt some type of way about it. I can't lie, not in a bad way, but I wanted to show Coach Reeves that this trade wasn't for nothing. So I wanted to go in there with a good mindset and a good attitude. And I got to meet some really cool people. I got to play with Sylvia Fowles. Like before she retired too, it was just like it was amazing. And Simone Augustus, like I got to be around some very great basketball players who are literally legends, and I got to learn from them and just be able to be around them and hang around them, get to know them, they get to know me, and just being able to get on the floor. It was kind of the same situation that I took it. She didn't say verbatim, Alaina, I need you to be a spark off the bench, but anytime I went anywhere, it was just like, you know what? If I'm not going to start, I'm just going to be a spark off the bench. That's always going to be my mentality because I'm going to show you that I'm here for a reason. And ultimately, that's how I really wanted to treat my time with Minnesota.
What was that feeling like going to Atlanta Dream and getting to compete in Atlanta?
I loved it. Obviously, Atlanta is like it was all of a 3 hour drive from home. I was able to have like my family and friends come out more. Again, another great group of girls. Literally, Brittany Sykes and Monique Billings, like weird like this. Like I was able to form bonds that I just never really knew if I was going to create. later on in life or not. And it was just a good experience. And for me, that was my third team that year. And again, it was a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but I had good people under me. I mean, I had good people beside me, and they just helped me keep myself grounded. I kind of felt like I was floating around in the system, but they helped reassure me that there's a reason why you're still in this league and these teams are still looking for you and that you're still here. And just being able to have another team and another opportunity to continue to show what I do, it was great. And I absolutely appreciated the opportunity.
Of course, when you went to the Washington Mystics, what was that feeling like getting to play in the opening day?
It was oh my gosh, they were literally the reigning champs. So it was a little intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. It was a little intimidating. It kind of was the same way with Vegas. Just going to a team that literally just won the year before. There's, high expectations, and the coaching staff, they just have their expectations. They have their people that's already there. They know the system and all that stuff. So it was very nerve-wracking for me. But at the same time, I had to remind myself they wouldn't have reached out for you if they didn't feel like you would be an asset to the team. So getting to be able to play on that team, it was great. I was able to make some great friendships out of that. And ultimately the camaraderie amongst like my teammates and stuff, it helps because that was the bubble year and the bubble was hard. The bubble was a little taxing. I can't lie. It was a lot. The schedule was different. I appreciate the fact that the league did what they could so that we could still perform and do what we do and be able to have a job because that's during COVID and that was a very rough time period. But to have another team call my name, I was just like, you know what, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna put this jersey on, we're gonna put this red and blue on, and we're gonna make some magic happen. When he calls your name to go in, we're gonna make something happen. So just had to keep going in there with that mentality.
Of course, with Washington coming off of that championship win and stuff, what was that feeling like signing with that championship team and being a part of a championship culture?
It was a little different because I didn't get to spend too much time within the city. By the time that I got to the DC area, we were only there for like a couple of days just to get some practices and stuff in, and then we had to go to the bubble. So I didn't really get to experience kind of what championship, well, like previous championship winning atmosphere was like until I got to Vegas.
Of course, after leaving Washington, what was that like getting to go to the Indiana Fever and getting to compete with them?
It was a lot. I worked my butt off over the winter fall in Turkey so that I could have that opportunity to play there and to have the head coach and to have Tamika, she was still there at the time, just FaceTime me and be like, look, we really want you. We really feel like you can do X, Y, and Z for us and all this other stuff. It was very encouraging to hear. And I was ready to take that role on. I was ready to come in. Obviously, I wasn't like a seasoned vet, but I'm still a vet. It's like I'm ready to, help the young ones. Like I get to come in and just be a part of the system. I don't have to literally be somewhere and then have to get inserted into a whole another system and take like, a month to get used to stuff. Um, and I just really appreciated the opportunity to be able to go out there and play for the people of Indiana. They were so welcoming, and it was cool to play in the same arena as the Patriots. Honestly, being able to play in the same arena as some of the NBA teams played in, it was pretty cool. Like not many people will get to be able to say that. Like a lot of people be able to say like, "Oh, I got to go to the arena. I got to watch a game in that arena." But like to say you get to play and practice on this floor, like it was very exciting.
What is that like, obviously, as a WNBA player, getting to play and practice on that court that the NBA teams play and practice on?
I'm not gonna lie, it's really cool. Being able to just share the same amenities and they take care of us. They take care of us. I mean, they take care of the W teams, but they definitely take care of the NBA team. So just being able to, in a sense, reap some of the things that they have that are just very in a professional manner. Like for example, I know that like professional chefs, for example, to like help cook us like healthy meals and nutritionists and all this stuff. Like a lot of it's not just about like, oh, they can get us into these places or oh, they can do this, oh, they can do that. Like the stuff that is like really important, like, with your body and stuff like that. It was it was cool to be able to have access to those amenities as well, because at the end of the day, everyone's gunning for a championship and they want their players to be in the best tip top shape and condition. So it definitely was an added bonus to be able to, share in those things with like those teams. So it was definitely a cool experience.
In earlier this year in 2023, what was that feeling like going to the Mercers and getting to compete with the Mercers?
So that was definitely a whirlwind experience within itself. I actually was literally in the middle of working Coach Staley's little Gamecock camp, and I got the call from my agent, and they were just like, "Hey, Phoenix is looking for someone. You thinking that?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Let's go." And like literally within the next couple of hours, I was on a flight. But it was so cool. I was first and foremost, I was so happy that BG was finally able to come back home from everything that happened within Russia. Um, but I got to meet Diana Taurasi. Like I got to meet BG. Like I got to be around Shea Petty again. Like that was my girl. That was a friendship that I formed while playing with Washington, and it was just really cool. I loved playing for Coach Nikki. Like the coaching staff was amazing. Everyone everywhere I've been has just been so friendly and inviting, and it was definitely a good experience. And for me, it was a a good confidence booster because the previous year I didn't play for anyone, and it took a little hit on my pride, and I just kind of had to do some soul searching and realize like, hey, you know, it's not always the other side. Like look within yourself. Like what can you do to, fix this situation for yourself? And so I made sure that before I went to Phoenix, I made sure that I got a personal trainer, and I got myself into therapy. And I wasn't in Phoenix probably for more than a week because Megan Gustafson, Megan G. I don't want to mess her last name up. She was on concussion protocol, and so she got better before I came back. But honestly, it was a very good week for me being there, and I got an assist. I mean, I got to get a bucket off of DT's assist. So I mean, there's some stuff that I can say that I've got to do that some people may never get to say, and it's just a blessing that I was able to experience what I did.
While with the Mercers, what was that like getting to play with players like BG?
It was. I looked at it the same way when I was with Minnesota. Like I got to learn from BG, just some tips and stuff outside of, just plays and learning stuff, and just being able to hang out with it's a different experience when like you see people on TV and like you play against them, but you never like been on the same team. It's different when you're on the same team. And I want to say like Phoenix was probably the first team that I kind of got integrated into. And I wasn't nervous because everyone was just like, "Hey girl, what's up?" And I was just like, "Oh, well, hey." Um, and just being able to play with BG for me, it was beneficial because, I'm only 6'4" and she's like 6'8", I think. So it's just like being able to like go against her in practice, like it was very helpful for me as well because, you never know whether overseas in the league, you never know who's going to come through and who you're going to have to play against. So being able to also get like words of wisdom from her, and just to have people like her and DT and like when you do something good on the court and they're cheering for you on the sideline, that's just a whole different feeling because it's just like, dang, I was sitting here looking at you, watching you on the TV, like cheering, and I was just like, I get to be your teammate and you get to cheer for me. It's definitely a special feeling.
What was that feeling like getting to sign with the Las Vegas Aces and getting to play with players like Candace Parker?
It was exciting. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was not expecting it in the slightest, and not because of anything from me. I just never thought that I would ever be on Vegas's radar. I wish I could tell you why, but I just, just with the people that they had, they had Candace, they had Asia, they had so many other people, and I was just like, oh, they're probably not, really thinking too much about, big girls. So I was just like, just but when I got the call, I was shocked, but the shock just went out the window. I was extremely excited because I get to be around some great players. I get to Chelsea Gray, Candace, Asia, like the list goes on. Like an amazing it was an amazing feeling to get the call and to know that they wanted me to be a part of the team. But it was just even more amazing to be able to come out with the experience with what I did. Like I created some friends, I created some bonds. That group of girls are everyone in that entire organization is literally goofballs. Like we take stuff serious when we need to take stuff serious, obviously, but everyone was just so welcoming and cool. And the fans, I could not put into words just how welcoming they were off rip. Typically, there's always some people that's like a new person will come to the team and they'll be like, who or why did we get her? And they were just like, yes, come on, bring her on, bring her on. I was just like, oh my gosh, you guys are so amazing. And everyone, literally just the most genuine across the boards, fan, coaching staff, regular staff, team, just I couldn't have asked to have been in a better situation. And Becky and the coaching staff, Nat, CT, Ty, they're all just so amazing. They're so great at what they do. And they're gonna be there. They're gonna show up. Like, you want to get extra in, like let's go. Like they're down for whatever. Like they want what's best for us, just as much as we do. And being being able to be in a system, it kind of reminded me of being at USC, if I'm being honest, which is why I was able to just be so comfortable. And I would never trade that experience for anything.
Of course, how is that like getting to play with some teammates that came from USC, like Asia?
It was definitely cool. I found it very funny because I had did a podcast earlier this year, and one of the questions we were just on topic of me and Asia playing again, and I was just like, I would love to like the twin top. That's a high low matchup. I mean that I wouldn't have to learn. Like it just worked so well in college. I was like, we could get this going. Now, obviously, I knew my role was going to be different coming into the aces and everything, but just being able to be on the same team with her again and just being able to be around her again, like it was refreshing because like we're adults now, like we're not like kids anymore. It's just like I hadn't seen her in forever. She's a busy woman as she should be. Like freaking go, come on now. And it was just really nice to come in and like have a familiar face and just being able to watch her play and being able to be out there with her and help continue to make her better when we're playing against each other on the floor in practice and stuff, and just seeing her get off during the games and do what she did, like I was very proud. And it just yeah, I just being able to be on the same team with her again, it was definitely a highlight. Praying for more years for sure, but yeah.
How is that feeling like different from putting on the Aces jersey versus putting on your other WNBA jerseys throughout your career?
It felt different putting on an Aces jersey for me because, again, I didn't think that I would be in that spot. And not because I felt like I was a bad player. Again, I just didn't think that I was someone who was on their radar. And I just felt very proud of myself. being able to have just stuff that has aces on it and have Colts 81 just a jersey, like it meant a lot because I felt like it was a step in the right direction for what I wanted. Um, so I wear 81 because that was my father's football number, and I wear it in his honor. So to be able to play for the reigning champs, the current number one team in the league, and I get to wear his number and I get to have our last name on the back and just be able to play for him and just be able to play for this team and just to be a part. It was so amazing. And I was just so proud of myself because I did the work. I did what I was supposed to do. I worked hard. I stayed focused. I stayed in my own lane and worried about me. And I worked myself to the point to where I could be in that position. And I just felt extremely blessed. Every time we're in that locker room and I got to put that jersey on, I just felt nothing but blessed. And it was
What was,
amazing.
what was it like getting to compete for the WNBA champion and go against New York Liberty?
Ooh, all right. So it was that was a whirlwind within itself. The first two games were in Vegas, and I'm sitting here looking at us like we playing like the Spurs that won the championship. I was like, we moving the ball and stuff, and I had never been deep into a playoff at all. So my first time ever being in the playoffs was with Washington that 2020 year, but we got knocked out because Shea Petty hit that 23 and knocked us out. But it's all right though. It's all right. So honestly, playoff, and then they changed the format of playoffs this year. I remember beforehand, I think there were like there was two rounds where it was like single elimination. Then you got into the actual like series of things. So I wasn't really aware of how that went, but it was definitely a cool experience. Um, and honestly, I think I like the series better than the one and done. If I'm being honest, in college it's a little stressful. It's traumatizing a little bit. You only get one game to get this done. Like that's it. If the refs mess up or something, like it is what it is. You just kind of gotta go your merry little way after that. But just being able to go from first round to second round to we get to the finals, it was crazy. And then regular season we didn't beat New York at all at their place, and then we win games one and two, and then we're like, all right, in our minds we're like we're trying to sweep, like we haven't lost a game yet, like we're trying to bring this thing home, and then game three, we end up losing. I'm like it's okay, but then that loss, we just kind of sat back and just really reevaluated because we all were on the same page that we just, like you want something so bad and then you just kind of keep messing up because you want it so bad. I felt like that's what we wanted to beat them so bad at their place because there was a lot of controversy that was going on through the year and we hadn't beat them at their place and we just really wanted it. And that night before the championship game, we're within ourselves. Like we're enjoying ourselves. We're enjoying that team camaraderie. We literally were playing Hot Topic like that night before, like sitting here going back and forth arguing about certain stuff, like should old people be allowed to drive or not. And it was just a good time. Like we were able to stay within ourselves, and it really felt like we were able to just exhale. And then we come out that next game, especially since we lost Kia and Chelsea to their injuries, and we turned what could have been an extremely stressful situation into a good thing. We only won the game by 1 point, but 1 point still a dub. And just being able to finally get that win on their court, and then that win led to the championship. It was amazing. If I'm being honest, it still feels surreal to me, but I wouldn't change anything about it. I felt like as much as I would have loved to sweep during that championship series, I really do feel like we needed to take that loss so that we could just regroup and realize like y'all, we're good. Like We just need to go out there and do what we need to do. And we had extra added motivation because we had Kia and Chelsea, two of our starters who were out, but we were able to get the job done. And it was definitely an exciting time.
During that series in the championship, what was that like getting to compete against New York Liberty's Sabrina Ionescu and Brianna Stewart?
It was annoying. They're really great players. She's got a deep 3-point shot. She throw that thing up there sometimes, and we just like that thing dropped like dang. And then Stewie, like she's great. Um, but at the end of the day, I just enjoyed the challenge. I enjoyed knowing that we were going to have to really fight for real to get this and to win this and to be able to play against that team with some really good players on there and to be able to come out victorious and just be able to hoist that trophy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it might sound petty to some people, but winning on your own floor is cool, but winning on the opposing team's floor when you got all them fans yelling at you and doing all that extra stuff during the game, it definitely hits different. But the level of competition, it definitely pushed us to really be our best. And that's one thing that I can say about my appreciation for that championship series. I appreciate that it was New York because I feel like there was a lot that needed to be said and done during this series and a lot that needed to be shown and proved. And I felt like we did what we needed to do and we handled business and we were able to hoist that trophy on up.
What was that feeling like as a player getting to hoist up that WNBA trophy?
It was surreal. I When the buzzer went off, it took me a minute to realize that like, oh shoot, like we won because it was a delayed reaction for me because I'm just like, I'm so locked in. I'm just like, I'm looking at Sloop shoot the ball, and I'm just like, oh, okay, she missed, but how much time was on the clock? Oh, there's no time left. I was like, are they gonna get a rebound? Who's gonna get a rebound? And then the dust settled, and it wasn't until our starters started like running back to us that I was just like, oh shoot, we just won this thing. So it was nothing but excitement, and then it was just nothing but a good time after that. We came back to Vegas that same night and we was just getting loved on. Mandalay Bay, they had it lit up and they said Aces win. Like it was I wasn't used to it. It was some long nights in Vegas. I'm not gonna lie. I was very tired. I'm not used to to that. But I mean, being able to experience and just be a part of it, like I was just so blessed and it was just so exciting and I want more of those moments.
What was that feeling like for you getting to put on that championship ring and knowing all of your hard work paid off?
So we don't have the ring yet. We have to wait until next season, but just being able to, hoist the trophy up and be like, it was a lot for me. I cried a lot that night. Obviously, my mom and my brother were there, so that was emotional for me. My dad wasn't, so that was emotional for me. I literally got to win a championship with my teammate that I won a championship with in college. That was a lot. Just winning a championship in general, it was a lot. But yeah, just ooh, I can't wait to get that ring. But I was extremely proud of myself because I know that I wouldn't have been able to be in the position that I was in and to be able to be on this team, let alone have an Aces jersey with my name and number on it, if I didn't do what I needed to do while I was back home and I wasn't with the team. And I didn't want to I didn't want to waste my dead time. And I was just like, whoever calls my name, I'm going to be ready. And Vegas called my name and I made sure I was ready. And I felt like I did everything that I was supposed to do and I got rewarded for it. And oh, it was just amazing. It's so hard to put it into words, honestly. It was amazing.
What is it like getting to know that you have that Mama I Made It moment in the WNBA? And what is that Mama I Made It moment like for you?
It's Well, if I'm being honest, I personally don't feel like I've had like my I've made it moment yet. Um, I feel like there's so much more that I know I can do and show on the court, for my team and everything. Um, But just being able to be in that moment of like my mama champion, it was just so surreal. Like I literally was just bum rushing through the crowd. Like as soon as we got done, I'm like, "Where's my mom? Where's my mom? Where's my mom? Where's my mom?" And she knew all the hard work that I put into getting there, and just as soon as I saw her, it was just tears streaming down my face. Like it was literally just like my mama champ. Like she's literally seen me go to the gym like 4 or 5 times out the week, doing all that I needed to do, getting the therapy, just making sure I stayed grounded and just did what I needed to do. So just being able to literally go to her and I'm sitting here holding this big old trophy. That trophy was heavy, by the way. It was just it's a moment that I definitely can't I could never forget even if I wanted to. And my mama just knew, like I just being able to see her be proud of me and see that like we did it. Like, it definitely was a good feeling.
What does it mean to you to be a WNBA player?
It means a lot. This is my career, this is my job. I want to continue to inspire um the girlies who are in my position. I keep fighting for the girlies who are in my position. I've been bounced around on a whole bunch of other teams. I haven't stuck with a lot of teams, but at the end of the day, like your time is coming and just keep working hard because one day you too will have your moment. Your mama, I made it. Mama, I'm a champ. You'll be able to hoist that trophy, be on the team of your dreams, like be able to get on the court and do what you want to do. And being able to be in this profession, especially with a lot of people being like, oh, the W's this, the W's that, no one watches, no one cares. Like for the ones that do care, like we do this for y'all. I do this for y'all. I do this for the ones who care, and I do this for the ones who are in my exact same position. Like you can go from starting all the games to not really playing any, but it's okay. Like Sydney Colson, for example, she lives in the same spot as me. Like when her name was called, she went out there and she did her thing on the court. And it's like more players. Like, of course, we need to highlight, the goats, but we also need to highlight the players who are like us because we are a relatable story to a lot of the youth out there. Not even just young women, but young men too. Like, I just want to continue to be an inspiration and just show that, you know, your things are going to happen your way. You just got to stay the course. Your path's going to be different than everybody else's. Like, don't freak out. You're going to be fine.
Who are some of the players in the WNBA that you look up to?
She's tired, but I definitely looked up to Sylvia Fowles. She was that year in Minnesota was just amazing for me. Even though it was short, I definitely felt like she was a good mentor. Cheyenne Parker, I look up to her too. She was my vet when I was at Chicago, and she even to this day, like we have a good friendship, and she just inspires me with like how she's been her story. She wasn't starting all the time for Chicago. She found her place, and she's doing great things on the court. And I definitely say I look up to Shea Petty and Sydney Colson, not solely because of us being in the same position, but because of what they've done while being in my same position. They both have literally gone from just, not being the main ones, but being a contributing force on and off the court for their teams. And they've both been on championship winning teams. And they're just amazing, honestly. Odyssey Sims too. That's my good sis. That's my good sis. And I keep up with her and I try to keep her encouraged. She try to keep me encouraged. And I just, yes, yeah, for sure.
What is it like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
It's really cool. I'm not gonna lie. When I got to Vegas, I wasn't really expecting. I would, I've come into places, and the fans like they're welcoming, but no one's really like waiting and stuff. So, I'm, doing my thing, about to go around the corner, like, Coach, come here. And I was just like, oh, B is just so cool. Like I said, Vegas was extremely welcoming. Like, I don't know what it was, but I just felt like the experience with them was just different. And just having so many people, like, just off rip, just wanting to be like, can you sign this too? Sign this too? Sign this too? And then I actually have it's ironic how this turned out. We had just finished playing somebody, and I had family in town. We had went upstairs into the casino part to go eat, and there was this girl who her name's Jordan. She I think she was doing a TikTok. She just kind of randomly came up and started dancing or whatever, and like I danced with her, and then ultimately, yeah, I probably was one of the only ones that would go up there. But after every home game, we would go up there and we have a little dance battle. She would win some, I would win some, I would let her win some. But it was cool. And then it was just like fans would come in that area and they would want to stay for the dance battle. But, and then, I just had a lot of people be like, thank you for coming up here. Like, you don't have to. I'm like, you don't have to thank me for that. Like, the way that I've been welcomed, I couldn't even imagine like snubbing y'all. I didn't even know there was a group of fans that even waited for players that were up there. So I just made it my mission to go up there, and just knowing that like there's a group of people that's waiting for me, and it's just really cool having somebody want you to take pictures with them and sign stuff for them and have you hold their baby. Like it's a lot. It's a lot in a good way though. I enjoy it. I love my little crew, my little upstairs crew. But I love all the fans. Like I said, they welcome me, excuse me, with literally the widest arms open, and they made my transition into Vegas that much easier.
As a WNBA player, what is it like getting to see your fans get to represent you and wearing your jersey with your name on the back?
It means a lot. I had this one fan who got an Aces jersey with my number, and it almost made me cry because I wasn't here the whole season, and for y'all to like love up on me and just enjoy me the way that I wasn't expecting. I don't go into things expecting too much, if I'm being honest. And that being the outcome and people being like, we better see you here next year and I want your jersey and all this stuff. It's just I couldn't ask for anything more. Like I'm a bashful person to a certain extent. I don't like a lot of attention being put on me, but I do like to be acknowledged, and they do it in such a loving way, and I just love them.
What are some of your future plans in the WNBA moving forward?
Um, well, my biggest plan, which is actually one of my biggest goals, I'm gunning for most improved player. I plan to come and really do my big one. My biggest plan is to find my forever home. Fingers crossed is Vegas. I would definitely love to stay there. But honestly, my plans are just to do the same things I was doing at USC, but amplify. Like just get on the court, help my teammates, rebound that ball, run the floor, play some defense, be a biggest cheerleader when I'm on the floor. I just want to do great things, and I just want to do great things with my forever home. So wherever that may be, that's what I plan on doing.
What advice would you give those future college athletes out there that are looking to play collegiate women's basketball?
Um, I would tell them that understand that the levels are entirely different. There's a level of intensity from high school to college is different, from college to the pros is different. Um, and I will also say just be open to embracing whatever roles that your coach might give you. Now, if your coach is snubbing you, that's entirely different. But if it's a situation like me and you've got great talent across the board and you just have to prove yourself and earn your coach's game trust, take that role and go at it with a full head of steam. Like, don't think that just because you don't start or you might not play a lot, that it's gonna be that way forever. Your journey and your path is literally your own. Do not compare yourself to other people. Like your timing is your timing. Let them have theirs. you keep working on you in the meantime, and you'll be fine.
What advice would you give those college women basketball players out there that are looking to make their opportunity in the WNBA?
I would tell them to definitely, again, understand that it is a entirely different level of competition, but also understand that it is a business. So do not take things personal. Don't take everything personally. Um, if you take some things personally, the business world is cutthroat, right? And as of right now, there's only 144 of the best that are being able to play in the league. So understand that, for one, take every opportunity, even if it's just a training camp opportunity and they might not sound like they want to keep you. Go in there and prove them wrong. Take every single opportunity that you can to put yourself out there to get better, and don't get discouraged. I have been bounced around all over the place, and I was able to continue to work hard, and I can say that I'm a WNBA championship. So don't ever give up just because things might not be going in the direction or in the way that you saw them.
What advice would you give those WNBA players out there that are looking to be WNBA champions just like you have?
I would tell them to continue to work hard, honestly. Um, People who've been in the W, like they understand the business, how hard it is, what you have to do to maintain your body, maintain your mental health. Just make sure that you're right, and make sure that your teammates are right. Be a good teammate. Just make sure that everyone's on the same page. I feel like the reason why we were able to come out the way we did was because everyone was on the same page and everybody was willing to do what they needed to do to play their role so that we all got better, so that we could be the champs. And I just feel like as long as you just stay together with your team and just continue to push each other, for sure. Push each other in practice. Don't look at practice as, oh, okay, we out here and I might not be playing. They just got, like, even if you got practice players, like, use them to your advantage. Like, don't think, oh, I'm not playing much. Like, take that time in practice to really do your big one and, like, make your other teammates better. I feel like us as a unit, we helped can keep our starters in the right condition because we paid attention during film. We make sure that we execute when we're doing walkthroughs and stuff. Just really make sure that you're 100% bought in, honestly.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
I'm sorry.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
So on Instagram and I want to say Twitter, it's AYE_ it's Lele 41 LAYLAY. And I do be on TikTok sometimes. I do a lot. Well, I do a lot more talking about my anime and all that stuff on TikTok, but it's just at Lena Coates. So literally just my name, just take the A out in the front.
Thank you again, Alaina Coates, for your interview and best luck in your future in the WNBA.
Of course. Thank you so much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Alaina Coates, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you for having me.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.